Hello everybody. For about a month I've been caring for my weeb friend's ant colonies while he's been on vacation. And I thought I'd show you all of them now because some of them are pretty interesting. He plans to do YouTube eventually, so I'll leave his channel down below in the description if anyone's interested. And now to show you guys some cool ants. First up we have this random Formica Argentina queen. Honestly I can't remember most of the species on hand, but I'll make sure to put a little note on the bottom left. Nothing too interesting about this queen. Pretty gorgeous though. Next up we have this Temnothorax colony. They're other known as acorn ants. Honestly this colony is pretty tiny, but they're like one of the most annoying colonies that my friend had me care for. Just look at this. Literally they've pulled the cotton from here all the way back over there. And they got a ton of workers trying to escape 24/7. And yes, I've been feeding them still. That's why you see some dead workers, because I had to sacrifice them. Look, literally a worker got all the way over there, and yes, that worker is alive. Next up is another Formica colony. Pretty average to me, honestly. Not much to say about this particular colony, but they're pretty easy to keep. Next up is this Formica mochi colony. Honestly, this one's pretty hard to film because they dirtied out their test tube like crazy. A pretty colorful species, lots of activity, and they move pretty fast. They basically eat everything I give them. Another Formica mochi colony that I got right now. Very nice colors. You can literally see the mouth of the larvae right there. Look at the queen. She's staring at me in like anger or something. Next up is this Formica acerva colony. These are slave raiders. So basically this queen will go out and try to murder another queen in a colony, take over her colony, and eventually replace it with their own workers. Look at that beautiful queen. And she already has one biological worker. I honestly can't tell though because they all look the same to me still. But yeah, look at that. Beautiful queen. Next up is this lasius species. Tiny little cute ants. As always, they go pretty fast. They're always hungry. Overall, decent species to keep, but usually people don't really keep them in America because they see them as boring. I would recommend trying them out though. Next up is another Formica Argentina colony with lots of brood, healthy colony. Overall, just your average boring Formica. Next up is another random Formica species, but this one has a beautiful queen with some nice orange coloration there. They have laid a few eggs. Previously a neglected colony, but now they should hopefully recover under my friend. They aren't all super boring. Right here is another Formica colony. They have a lot more workers, and honestly, if you bother them too much, they'll start spraying their formic acid, and it smells like vinegar. Crazy. Well, it is technically vinegar, basically. Nice vinegar smell. Look at all those workers. Funny thing, I just noticed that this colony executed their queen. You can see your gaster right there rolling around. So rest in peace this colony. Sometimes ants are just dumb like that. And yes, I have been feeding these guys. Kind of sad that I have this whole foam block of queens and etc. too. So let's take a look at that. Another Formica mochi colony. A fresh founding colony, as you can see, with that nice orange and red. Next up we have a Formica subpolita colony that just had our first workers. As you can see, they're all callows, which is why they're basically like yellow, but eventually they will harden and they'll turn to be like their queen. Next up, another Formica colony with a lot more workers. This one probably founded the first out of all of the other queens. Here's another one of a similar species. Look at that queen stare at the camera. Nothing much to say about this colony. Here's another Formica species. I'll put the species up there. Look at that beautiful queen. Similar to mochi, but a little slight different coloration. Another Formica subpolita colony. Basically your average Formica. Last for the tube colonies, we got a pair of lasius brevicornis. I probably butchered that too. And unlike normal lasius, they get nice bright yellow workers. Alrighty, on to the nest colonies. This is another slave raiding Formica. You can tell by some of the workers have those nice red heads and some of them have black heads. There's a queen right there. Beautiful species. Personally, if I had the space, I would keep these because these get quite large. These have like a really good diet. I showed these before. Literally, they eat everything. Yeah, one of the more interesting species that he has. This specific species eats a lot, but in turn they produce a lot of brood. There's probably at least 30 eggs right there. Next up is the weeb nest Formica. You can see they're all basically not moving right now. Honestly, a pretty boring species to me, but they're one of the more interesting ones in the fact that they spray formic acid like crazy. Well, nothing too crazy, but funny thing, you see how they're not moving, right? Watch this. Look, literally, like, they don't, look at how they move. It's kind of funny. They move like, it's red light, green light. Next up is another Formica cerva colony. You can see that work right there and that black work we just passed by. They just recently got some bioworkers, which you might be able to see, you might not. Right there is the queen chilling in the corner. As I mentioned earlier, a beautiful species and very aggressive, so just be careful if you keep these. This is another Formica species, again, but they have lots of brood. And an interesting thing about this colony is that they're poly, so basically, or polygynous, sorry. They have multiple queens. There's 1 queen, 2 queens, 3 queens, and 4 queens. Isn't that pretty neat? They eat quite a lot. There's honestly not much about to say about this species. They're a good host species for slave raiders if you decide to get those. Here's another polygynous Formica species. Look at all those eggs. Wow. That worker's holding 2 pupae at once. An interesting thing about this species, or this colony, is that they have a queen with a red. Look at that. See the red right there? But if you look at the other ones, some of them have red and some of them don't. Or it's a very faint. See it? This is probably the favorite out of his Polygynous Formica. Like, you can see it even from afar how much more red that queen is over there. Look at all that brood. Perfect for host species for those type of ants I mentioned earlier. Last up is this Fidole Cerophilia colony. I probably butchered that. As you can see, they're doing quite well. They got some majors. Look at that. Honestly, if you're to keep Fidole, I would recommend getting this species as one of your permanent colonies. They have really good coloration. Look at all that brood, by the way. Just make sure you have an escape-proof nest. Beautiful ants. And nice big majors. That will be the end for today's video, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.